you need to understand that a lot of people are going to call you rude. A lot of people are going to call you mean just because you've set out your boundaries. Just because you've set out those boundaries, they are going to call you all sorts of names. But I'm here to tell you that it is very okay for you to identify your limits. It is very okay for you to identify your non-negotiable, those things that you cannot negotiate with. It is very okay to identify those things. It is okay to identify your limit. It is okay for you to expect people to respect your boundaries. Yeah, I said so. It is okay for you to have such expectations. Well, without wasting much of your time, my name is Christabel, and if you're seeing me for the first time, why don't you consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and be part of this happy family? Because why not? If you are a returning subscriber, you are my GOAT, and you know I love you. You are the OG. You are the very best. So thank you very much for stopping by once again. So without wasting much of your time, I am just going to jump right into the video. So today's video is not going to be like the regular one. We are just going to be having a chit chat. We are going to be communicating. We are going to be talking, because I don't want it to sound as if I am shouting. I don't want it to sound like I am getting angry. I'm not going to get angry, because this topic is one very sensitive topic, because some people are going to accept my own point of view, and others will come running and saying no, but it's fine. Everyone's point of view is valid. Your opinion is valid. So whatever it is I have said in this video, or I am going to say in this video, that you are not happy with, you can go down the comment section and tell me your reason, or how you think and what you think about that. So anyways, now we are going to be talking about setting boundaries, and like I said previously, it is very okay for you to set boundaries. It is, I think everyone should have a boundary. I think everyone, as long as you're a human being in this world, in this present world, I mean, who in 2024 does not have boundaries? You need to set boundaries. As long as you are living, as long as you are relating with every work. Let's look at the work boundaries. Now, how do you want to set boundaries? Like when I'm talking about work boundaries, what do I mean? Like, what do I mean by setting your work boundaries? I can set my work boundaries by saying, oh, I am not going to respond to a work email after my working hour. It is valid. Like, that is my time off work. I shouldn't start answering a work email when it is my time off work. I can say I don't want to receive calls on my day off. That is my boundaries. I expect everyone to respect it. But trust me, not everyone is going to respect it, but it's okay. Also, I can say I need to take my break. When it's my break time, I have to take my break. That's a boundary. You should take a break. You know, once this one is for me. I'm also talking to myself as well, because I am fond of not taking my break, and it is so bad. It is very, very bad. It's not like is something that is going to be appreciated. Nobody cares about you. Trust me, your bosses do not care about you. I repeat, your bosses do not care whether you take your break or not. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be rude to the bosses, but I'm just saying no one really cares about you. So you need to first look out for yourself. You should set out time for your self-care. That's a boundary. This time of the week, I'm going to take this time out to care for myself. No one should come and say, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. No, that's the time for myself. That is my me time. That's a boundary. Do you understand? And people should learn to accept it. People should learn to respect it. And you also, it is your responsibility to also respect other people's boundaries, because you don't expect to set your own boundaries, and then you expect me to respect your boundary, and then when it's mine you don't respect it. That's going to be in the cases of like relationship. You're in a relationship with someone and then you've set out your own boundaries. Get me? Popular one, my phone is my privacy, yeah, and your phone is your privacy. That's a boundary I set out. I don't expect you to go around picking my phone, responding to my WhatsApp, responding to my Facebook, responding to my Instagram, or responding to my messages. That's a boundary I set for myself. I'm giving an example, and now I have set that boundary for the relationship, yeah, and I expect you as my partner to respect that, yeah. So when the table turns around, yeah, and then you set that boundary for, and your partner sets that boundary for themselves, you're finding it difficult to respect it. Why? So it is your responsibility as someone in fact, as someone who has set out boundaries, it is also your responsibility to respect other people's boundaries. As long as you are expecting people to respect your boundaries, I feel like it is very important for you to also respect the next person's boundaries. So you said you don't need to respond to my messages, you don't need to go through my phone to respond to my messages. Fine, that's a boundary, I'll respect it, but can you respect that boundary also? Can you not touch my phone? Can you stop responding to my messages? Vis-a-vis, whatever it's called. So that's it. So you have a responsibility to also respect people's boundaries, as long as you are expecting people to respect your boundaries. Also, I'm trying to set out your boundaries is identify your limits. Now you know those things that you know the height of things you can do. You know your limit, you know what you can do, the level you can get to, and the level you cannot get to. Do not try to exceed that. That's like knowing your limit, knowing what you can take and what you cannot take, knowing exactly what you can accept and what you cannot accept. Now the next thing is you need to communicate it clearly. You need to communicate it to people. Communicate your boundaries, because if I don't know that you've set out a boundaries like this, you've set out this thing as a boundary, like you've set a specific boundary, how do you expect me to respect it? So you need to always communicate your boundaries to people you relate with, people that care about you, people you care about. Because when people stop respecting your boundaries, you feel bad. But why would you feel bad when you've not communicated that boundary to the person, and the person out of ignorance is going against your boundary? So we should try to communicate our boundaries, let people know, and be assertive, yeah. Be firm with your boundary. This is what you have decided on. This is what you can take. This is what you cannot take. Be firm about it. Don't be someone that people can sway easily. Yeah. Don't be someone people can just sweet talk. No, I don't like that. Like, if this is it, it is it. You are this kind of person. This is your personality. This is what you believe in. Let it be that thing. Don't be that kind of person people can easily, they push you to right, they push you to left, and no, that's not nice. It doesn't sound good as much as it doesn't look good. Because when people can easily boycott their way around you, it's not a good, it doesn't leave a good impression on you. But when you're someone that is very assertive, you know what you want, and you know how to say yes, you know how to say no when it's time to say no, I think people would be more careful with you, and people will try to like respect you. People would in turn value when you say yes. Yeah, if you are someone who has got a boundary, yeah, you are assertive, you've communicated that boundary to people, you are assertive, like people know that you have boundaries, you've set out boundaries for yourself, they are aware of it, or they are aware of it. Now when people will value you more, they will value your time. Do you understand? Like, some people can set out boundaries no matter what, as long as it is not life or death. It is not a matter of life or death. I am not leaving my house after 10 p.m. That's a boundary. So I don't expect my friend to call me, my friend that knows that I've got a boundary, to call me after 10 p.m. and say, hi Christabel, can we go out? Can we do this? Or I don't expect my friend to put her event, English, sorry about that. So I don't expect my friend who values me, and maybe she wants to set up her birthday party, she values me and she really wants me to come to her birthday party. I do not expect her, knowing that I've got a boundary, that I don't leave my house after 10 p.m. I don't expect her to set her party for 10 p.m. You're indirectly telling me that you don't want me to come, so it's fine and it's okay. I'm not gonna get angry. You get, I'm not gonna get angry because I respect your decision. That is what you want, that is your choice. But the problem I'm going to have is you calling me after 10 p.m. to tell me about the birthday, like calling me to invite me for a birthday after 10 p.m. when you know that I've got a boundary. I've set boundaries for the time I'm going to leave my house, the time I'm not going to step out of my house. You are fully aware of it. Like, and then you put your party for that time, and then you call me to invite me to a party. I'm not going to come. That's it. That's like a boundary, and it's okay. No one is going to get angry because you know of my boundary and you set your time for this, and you don't expect me to come. Yeah, you respect my boundary. I respect your choice. Yeah. So another thing we are going to talk about based on setting boundaries, I think I've touched the work part, I've touched relationship, I have touched, okay, I wanted to touch about finances, when you're setting boundaries in finances. And then this is going to be more like discipline. It's going to be more like being disciplined when it comes to your finances, because when you're setting boundaries and financial boundaries, it's like you setting out your discipline. Yeah, trying to be disciplined with your finances. You know what you can afford, you know what you can't afford at the moment. Why do you keep trying to get what you cannot afford? You know how much you set that you are going to spend in a month. You know how much of your wages that you've set out for certain things, for your basic needs. And then instead of focusing on the needs, you are busy trying to get something else. Not because you necessarily need that thing, just because you want to show off. So I believe everyone should have a financial boundary, because when you have a financial boundary, it's going to help you with your spending. It's going to help you keep you disciplined, keep you in check of what you can do. Also, when you have a financial boundary, it will also help you to say no in times when you really need to say no. I used to be someone who, I can't say no. I cannot say no to people. Like, I remember back then in school, but right now I feel very used. Yeah, I feel like I've been used by friends, I've been used by colleagues, because I'm someone who I don't really say, I was unable, not me, not now, I was unable to say no times like that. I would get to the point where I would be giving my feeding money, like my money, you know, students, how we were students all living in the hostel, I would be giving money for my own monthly upkeep by my parents. And then some of my friends like could come to me and they are like, not one, not two, different times they would come to me and be like, oh Christabel, could you borrow me 5,000, could you do this, could you do that? And then I know, like, the one that really touched me most one time was when I had just 5,000 naira in my account. I did not have any other money, and this friend of mine came to me and she was like, oh Christabel, could you give me 5,000? And I'm like, oh God, how do I tell her I don't have? How do I tell her? I couldn't. You know, I went to the bank, I withdrew the 5,000 I gave to this girl, and I didn't have money to eat. And worst of it, she called me, oh Christabel, escort me so we can go and buy food, because in my hostel back then we didn't used to cook. So we needed to, like, you need to buy every meal you want to eat. So I followed her, accompanied her to the restaurant. We got the food, and I was there. She was like, oh, are you not going to eat? I said, oh no, I'm not hungry, I just had my, but deep down I was dying. I was dying inside because I was really hungry. I didn't have money to buy food because why? I have given my money to someone else to also feed themselves. Like, looking back, I'm like, oh God, Crystal, why were you doing this? Why were you doing this? So I had to starve myself that day. No, I had to, yeah, I drank Gary. If you know, I don't know where you're watching from. If you're watching from whatever part of the world, drinking Gary is like cassava flakes. Yeah, that's what we call it. That's going to be like the modernized name for it, cassava flakes. So I had to put it in water, cold water, put some sugar, and then I started drinking it, like eating it like that, just because I gave my money out to someone. And you know, the worst part of it was, I can't even ask the person. I couldn't even go back and say, oh please, you said you were going to give me this morning, the next day you said you were going to give me back the money, like you were going to return the money the next day, please could you give me. I couldn't ask for it. I just kept quiet. I kept going through that pain, but it's not a good feeling because it made me like, I was sad. I was feeling very sad. I was feeling angry with myself because I couldn't say no. So at some point I got to realize that, oh, people are really taking advantage of the fact that I am unable to say no at that point. And then I decided that I was going to say no to everything. So I started with, someone called me, oh Christabel, could you? I said no, I don't have at the moment. And then when I said no, I don't have, at first I felt very bad about it. I was like, oh, I knew I have this money but why am I saying I don't have? But after some time I said, no Christabel, you need to learn to say no. You need to learn, practice how to say no. So I kept on. I said I don't have. I told myself I don't have this money. Not like I have the money in abundance, but I could spare the money. But I decided to learn to say no. So that's what I'm saying. People should try to learn how to say no. When the situation is very uncomfortable for you, you need to say no. Don't put yourself through hell just because you want to satisfy someone else. Say no. Saying no is like setting boundaries as well. When you set boundaries for yourself, you will know when to say yes and know when to say no. I just wanted to come on here and have this chit chat with you guys because I have been bothered about it. I've been having conversation with a lot of people that have been having similar issues. So I said I should just make a video about it and let people know that it's okay to say no. It's okay to set out boundaries, and it is okay to expect people to respect your boundaries. And also, it is okay for you to also respect other people's boundaries. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you've gained one or two from everything I've said. Hopefully, consider subscribing and liking the video, share, and hopefully see you in another video.